Okay, here it is at last, the Helios Tarot forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, IamHelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours, there's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it. And here it is, Scorpio, your 5-card tarot spread for the month of December. Now this is a Golden Dawn spread condensed to 5 cards. Usually there are 15 cards, in this case we have 5, to the similar results. We have a central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options to choose from, a past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, we have that which most adequately embodies the whole story arc of this tarot spread. We have the 8 of Swords. All 8s in tarot are associated with Hod, sphere number 8 on the Tree of Life, and this has to do with action taken from acceptance or surrender. And in this case, as manifest through air, this is interference. This is surrender or disengaging due to having been interfered with. There's some kind of complication, some kind of a wrench thrown in the system. So that's probably happening right now. You are likely well aware of what that is because it tends to be rather jostling and rather obvious when that does happen. It's not so subtle. So the positive end of such interference is that you have a new start. There's round 2. You can do it a different way. You've learned something, obviously. You learned how not to do it, or who not to trust, or whatever it might be. This is a general read applying to everyone who shares your sun sign, so it's going to take some personal reflection on your part to derive the necessary specifics that you can actually work with. So you have 2 choices regarding your approach to this central theme, the Prince of Wands or the Devil. So let's start with the Prince of Wands. This is a personality profile. You may or may not be aware, but all of these 16 court cards line up beautifully and quite usefully with all of these 16 Myers-Briggs profiles. And the Prince of Wands is the ENTP, or the Extroverted Intuitive Thinking Perceiver. This is someone who engages one exciting challenge after another. They can argue both sides or multiple points of a point to learn, the value of many different perspectives. They test the limits. They're very enthusiastic. They're full of new ideas and very inventive. They run simulations in their mind rapidly and engage the world as if it were a kind of chessboard, a kind of game. And they do so enthusiastically with a kind of fun spirit and a kind of optimism and confidence that allows them to do so in a very dynamic manner, in a way that is often very successful. So they don't have the pressures of the queen or of the knight. This is a lower rank. Prince, much like the princess, they have a carefree attitude. So this is, of course, the path upon which you don't take this central theme too seriously. It's sort of like, you tripped, you fell, big deal, get up, move on. And so that might be a very appropriate and wise way to go in this case, especially when we consider your fate card. The adjustment card suggests that balance is being restored. This whole experience, in fact, is the process of some karmic debt being repaid. So it's quite positive, and this is well beyond you. So it is going to happen, and there's no drastic measure you must take to force anything to occur. There are mechanics at work that are well beyond anything that this central theme, temporary tripping up, would be relevant to. It's not consequential. It's nothing that you should take to heart. It actually is quite appropriate to just simply get up and brush off your knees and move on. Whereas the Devil card at the alternative dimensional timeline would be taking it very seriously and going to rather excessive, perhaps compulsive and extreme measures to do something drastically different, to shake up the whole system. The Devil card is absolutely taking this whole central theme very personally, straight to heart, and from almost like a spiteful perspective, completely throwing a wrench in the system again, willingly. Sort of like, well, if a wrench is going to be thrown in the system anyway, I may as well be the one to do it. And it doesn't look like that's quite appropriate here. In some cases, the Devil surfaces as a reminder that it's important to be selfish to a degree. There's such a thing as a healthy dose of selfishness. But in this case, it would be self-indulgent, it would be spiteful, almost like a tantrum, and that's certainly not necessary. This is all inspired by the 2 of Wands in your past section. All 2s in tarot are associated with Chokhmah on the Tree of Life, sphere number 2, which is wisdom. It's the first power of conscious intellect, and it's associated with the right hemisphere of the brain. So this is actually the portion of the brain that runs simulations. It's quite in line with the Prince of Wands personality profile. So this is, it's looking like this is the natural chain of cause and effect. So this Eight of Swords central theme, something not quite working out, is merely the product of the first attempted actualization of that which you imagined through the experience of the Two of Wands. You wanted to create something, you wanted to try something different, you did it, and it didn't quite work out. But you could actually learn something and keep trying. Rerun the simulations through the Prince of Wands, perhaps more enthusiastically, perhaps more determined, with greater force, with greater strength, and also less seriously. There may have been some fear wrapped up in this whole first try. We could call it a first try, since this Two of Wands it does imply the first contemplation of a possibility. And then through the Eight of Swords, we have the implication of, the first attempt not quite working out. So the Prince of Wands is simply the dimensional timeline upon which you don't take it too seriously. So I would advise that quite strongly. Don't take it too seriously. Don't become the devil. Don't do anything rash. And don't throw a wrench in the system yourself, because this is actually the process of balance being restored. You're learning something, and there's just some kind of course you have to run with it. This isn't the product of you having done anything wrong. This is simply the process of learning. Sometimes when demands or life circumstances are elevated, due to perhaps conditions beyond our control, there is an implied imbalance, not because we've done anything wrong, but because we haven't yet done anything right. You could think of it like that. So it's just a process or a circumstance that's beckoning you to grow a little bit more, beckoning you to evolve, to step up, to start refining your capabilities. And so the simulations that you're running in your mind, as is implied by the Two of Wands, you're already on the right track. These simulations are actually going to help you. It's part of the learning process, and that's going to continue to be assistive to you. If there were a prerequisite for this Prince of Wands, something that you could do to consciously activate it, to demonstrate that you're willing to take that path rather than the Devil card, it would be, to demonstrate to yourself that you love the game. You love this whole process. You love running simulations and trying things out, and you're not too attached to outcomes. I mean, what happens to those who are utterly terrified of failure? They never take anything beyond simulations. The experimentation never occurs, and they never actually get anywhere. They never actually achieve something. So don't be afraid of failure. It might happen again, but it should probably, it's likely to remain rather inconsequential, just something, akin to tripping and, bumping your knee. Just get up, dust off your knees, and keep going. Keep trying. Practice makes perfect. Now, obviously, don't keep trying the same thing over and over. Don't attempt to jam a square peg into a round hole. The Prince of Wands is inventive, creative. Come up with new approaches, new possible solutions, and try them out. So long as you remain creative, motivated, and optimistic, I see only success here. And that about wraps this up, so thank you for listening to this. You might want to contact me for a personal reading of some kind. You can gain clarity, certainty, and confidence regarding a big decision, the nature of a personal relationship, family dynamics, general complications or opportunities, and so on. I can help you simplify extremely complex matters into something workable, something you can base otherwise difficult decisions upon, and something you can trust, so you can put your mind at ease and get back to living. And maybe you want to uncover the complexities of your inner circuitry, really getting to know the way you truly operate, so you can pick and choose the kinds of strategies, partners, and environments that help you thrive and feel good and think straight. If any of that sounds good, trust me, you're going to want to check out my website, IamHelios.com, and discover what I can offer you there today. Thanks again.